Yeah. Welcome to the live. Welcome to the live. Welcome. We're going live. Welcome to the live. Welcome. Welcome to the live. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Welcome. Welcome to the live. Welcome to the Inner Mileage Live, where today we're going to be talking about how narcissistic abuse creates fragmentation. So the topic today is how narcissistic abuse creates fragmentation. That's the focus today. How does narcissistic abuse create fragmentation in empaths? That's what we're talking about. So come on in. Whose world is this? It's your world. We're talking about fragmentation today. How narcissistic abuse leads to fragmentation. Welcome in. We're talking about narcissistic abuse and how narcissistic abuse leads to fragmentation and what to do about it. Welcome to the live. Welcome. We're talking today about how narcissistic abuse leads to fragmentation and what to do about it and how to get over it. Right? This is the topic of focus today. Good evening, Galinda. Welcome to everyone joining. Welcome. Come on in. We're talking today about fragmentation, how narcissistic abuse creates fragmentation in the empath. So, what is narcissistic abuse? What is fragmentation? What does fragmentation mean? That's the topic of discussion today, right? That's what we're going to be talking about this morning, this afternoon, this evening, wherever you are. So, welcome in. Thank you for joining. Welcome to the channel. Today, we're talking about the impact of fragmentation on empaths. So, just for those who just joined, the focus today is on how narcissistic abuse leads to fragmentation in empaths. So, let's start off with talking about what fragmentation is. Fragmentation, this is to become fragmented, right, comes from the psychoanalytical field. A fragmentation simply means that because of the people-pleasing nature of an empath, there are parts of you that get repressed, ignored, or stay in the shadows. Which is why when you are in narcissistic abuse, it can almost feel like it's a schizophrenic feeling. 1 minute you want to be kind, and the next minute you want to be assertive, then you want to be kind again, then you want to be compassionate, then you don't know if you should be friendly or tough. That's fragmentation. And we're talking about how narcissistic abuse creates fragmentation in you. Because you have to remember that when you're fragmented, it means you're not whole. And when you're not whole, you're not yourself. And when you're not yourself, you're not your authentic best. And this is the impact narcissistic abuse has on us, right? So narcissistic abuse aims to take you away from your world, which is a place of peace, to a place of hell, right? This is what fragmentation is about. So welcome in. And this is what we're talking about, how narcissistic abuse leads to fragmentation. I just have to start off with this song by Nas, The World Is Yours, because the world is yours. The world is yours. And coming into wholeness, it's about claiming yourself back. The world is yours. This is what it's about. Let's start this again. Whose world is this? The world is yours. Nas said it. And the narcissists don't want you to know that this world is yours. The world is a creation of yourself. Listen, the world is yours. The world is yours. Whose world is this? This is Nas. And this is exactly what Nas wants you to know, that the world is yours, something that the narcissists don't want you to understand. So now let's get into how fragmentation happens. And I will start by defining what fragmentation is. So fragmentation is simply the parts of yourself that are repressed, ignored, forgotten, and left with your inner child because you've been conditioned not to be your full self. Because your full self is or was very threatening to the narcissist around you, whether the narcissist was your boss or your spouse or your sibling or your father or your mother or your grandmother or your sister or your brother, whoever they were in your life, your person, that the main reason why it feels like you go through complex post-traumatic stress disorder is because you've come out of a situation that confirmed, advocated, and perpetuated your own self-hate. Because when you hate yourself, which is the purpose of narcissistic abuse, the purpose of hating yourself means that there are parts of yourself that you don't expose because you think if you expose those parts of you, you will not be accepted. Because the narcissist conditioned you to believe that there was something fundamentally wrong with you. And if you were your full self, you were bound to be rejected, which is why a lot of empaths have rejection and shame trauma. Because your earliest caregivers said things to you like you're too much, you talk too much, you be seen and not heard, or they treated you in a way that made you shun yourself. So what began to happen is the natural parts of yourself that you really liked and embraced, you started to hide those parts. And in hiding those parts, you created a kind of schizophrenia in your personality. That one part of you is super sweet, then the other part of you is super detached, then another part of you is super mean, then another part of you is super witchy, and then you're all these things and you don't know who to be. So your energy is so scattered that there is no union, there's no wholeness, there's no unity. And in that fragmentation, you develop masks. And when you develop masks, it means you're an actor. Not only is this avatar a character, but you've put another character on top of this character. And as long as you're in this place of split personalities, even though there is split personality disorder, that's not what I'm talking about, but you're a split personality, because that's what the narcissist does to you. You start to believe that who you are is not acceptable. Who you are will not be liked and loved by people. And then what that leads to is you start to loathe and dislike yourself. You really start to. You see what happens? Because the gaslighting from the narcissist is designed to make you become fragmented psychologically and emotionally. I mean, if this is tracking and somebody wants to ask a question, get in and ask a question, because I don't want to just be talking to myself, right? But this is what happens. You see, change the way your mind works. Well, the narcissist changes your mind, the way your mind works, by making you feel like the whole of you is faulty. There's something wrong with you. Fundamentally, this is why they say the things they say to you, to lie, bully, and gaslight you. And when you accept those comments, that spell, it leads to a fragmented self. And when you are fragmented, you are confused. Your energy is drained. You are anxious. You're scared. How do you remove the mask? That's what we're talking about, Happy Morrows, because fragmentation is to be in a place of wearing masks all the time. I remember in my own case, I accepted this fragmentation that if I had a beard or natural hair, people will not see that I was an intelligent person or an acceptable person. And I believed it. And I've never felt better since letting my hair go wild and crazy, because I was fragmented to people please. Indigenous relative here and was born with knowing gifts, and I was told not to tell people. Pretty sure. So when you were told not to tell people, what did that do to your understanding of your gifts? You started to think you were loopy or crazy, or there's something wrong with you, mentally ill. And when you start to think you're mentally ill, or you repeat that thought over time, guess what happens to you? You do become mentally ill. And so you start to hide those parts of you that make you even sicker. And you hide in fear, like you said. That's the point of fragmentation. You see, I'm pretty sure if you're comfortable, just call in and I want to hear from you, because you seem like you've been through a lot. But fragmentation is how you separate the different parts of yourself so you can be acceptable to these group, and you can be acceptable to that group, and you can be acceptable to that group, and therefore you become unacceptable to yourself. In trying to become acceptable to everyone, you become unacceptable to yourself. This is what fragmentation does to you. And when you're unacceptable to yourself, you don't like yourself. And when you don't like yourself, you start to hate yourself. And when you start to hate yourself, you hide yourself even more. That's what fragmentation does to you. You see, that's what fragmentation does. You see, and that's the point of this live, to get you from fragmentation back to wholeness. Hello, Pretty Shield. How you doing today?
I'm feeling fabulous and grateful I found you.
Oh, that's great.
Because, oh my gosh, I came into this world knowing so much. I see things, I know things. And as a little child, when I spoke up about it, because of the racism we've endured,
Mm-hmm.
I was told, don't tell anybody, keep it quiet until you become an adult, because they will make you crazy. They'll say, they will classify you bipolar.
That's right.
Crazy. They're going to put you in an institution. So yes, for all my life, I never understood why I was scared of everybody. I used my middle name so no one would know I was indigenous.
Wow.
I was so in fear that they would, and I do. I come from border school survivors. So it was been entrained in me for so many generations.
Wow. When you say you're indigenous, what specifically? Because here we celebrate indigeneity. What are you indigenous to?
Thank you so much. That feels beautiful. I am Native American.
Woo!
Yes, and I come from a long line of politicians and warriors. My grandfather, 5 times rising, was the second governor of my nation.
Wow.
So this has been instilled in me for generations.
Wow.
And I never really understood why I was scared and why I've hid in the shadows for so long.
Because you know why, Pretty Shield? Or should I tell you?
Please, because your knowledge is so helpful.
Thank you. Everything about you is a threat. Being native, indigenous to this land makes everyone uncomfortable unless they're indigenous to and can acknowledge that. So you're a walking reflection of guilt and shame to the world. That's the first thing. The second thing is, it sounds to me, I'm feeling that you come from a long line of shamans, medicine people. That makes you a double threat. And then as I listen to you, I can hear you're connected to your divine feminine. That makes you a triple threat. Then the fourth threat about you is you are also an empath. That makes you a quadruple threat. So to the ordinary person who has nothing, whether it's your mother, father, husband, wife, whoever it is, how do you think they feel when they are in the presence of your light, especially when you don't know your light? How do you think that makes the ordinary person feel, Pretty Shield?
I feel it every day. I intimidate.
Boom.
I put fear in people. I walk in a room and everyone turns around and smiles, and then I watch them go downward.
Exactly.
And that to me is not who I am. So I try to light up the world.
Exactly.
Now that I understand who I am, now that I'm adult, now I see that all the intergenerational trauma is in me. Now I can identify it. But literally, I can see people when I walk in the room and they smile, and all of a sudden the fear, the intimidation.
How did that fear and intimidation make you feel back in the day?
I hid. I was quiet. I never connected with anybody.
Exactly.
I always was the one individual. I was friends with every circle I could be with, and I was never that close. I would go in a little bit, bring some joy, and then run away.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
I know who I was, and they were going to put me away in a mental ward.
In a mental ward, exactly. Because if you discovered who you are, you come into unity consciousness and become authentic and realize that everybody around you was projecting a Jedi trick. So they make you feel like there's something wrong with you, and then you start to create pathologies in yourself. That's the net effect of fragmentation. So you have these multiple personalities where you have a face for this place and a face for that place and a face for that place instead of just one face. And fragmentation, when you escape from narcissistic abuse, is what begins to bring you back into wholeness, back into unity consciousness, Pretty Shield. So how did you overcome this before I let you go, Pretty Shield?
Oh my God, gosh, I'm still working on it. So I'm grateful I found you. You're
Oh,
doing amazing with my tools because I get it. I get the racism. I get the harassment, the actual harassment from men. I demasculate men. I intimidate insecure women. And it's hard. It's hard. But I stand firm in who I am
that's
because I know who
exactly
I am
it.
now.
That's it. Standing
But I
firm in
just,
who you are. That's exactly it. Because you know you're not alone, right?
I do now. Thank you so much for
You're
you
not
and
alone.
all your that are coming to your page because I've always felt I'm all alone
No, you're
because
not.
I was never allowed to talk about it.
Well, we are finding each other because our time is now. We're no longer fragmented. We're coming into union, Pretty Shield. That's what this is about. Do you see?
Thank you, and I'm so grateful for you. And I'll be reaching out.
I'm grateful for you, and please reach out anytime.
I will.
All
You're
right.
going back.
Thank you. Bye for now. You see? So this is the point of fragmentation. You see? So Doug, seeking validation from outside, that's the trap. Then Billy says, how do you overcome the fragmentation? You overcome the fragmentation by first recognizing that the purpose of narcissistic abuse is to get you to split and not like yourself. So the way around it is to start to look at the parts of yourself that you don't like, whether it's your body, your personality, your voice, the way you speak, the way you show up, and start to realize that if you didn't have an incredible light, there'll be no reason for people to target you for fragmentation, which is what narcissistic abuse is. And so that is the trick to begin to overcome fragmentation, is to begin to love all the parts of you. And there's a process in which you can do that, whether it's inner child healing or meditation, to come back into union with yourself. And coming back to union with yourself is coming back to the divine within you. This message is not for everyone, it's for a specific person. You see, because the whole point of fragmentation is to get you scattered. Because when you start to meditate, the whole purpose of meditating is to have a gathered mind. And when your mind is gathered, you are in self-control. When your mind is fragmented, I've got to do this, I've got to do this. They think this of me, they think of this of you can never rise to your full spiritual authority. Do you see the game? And this is the reason why gaslighting and manipulation happens, to ensure that you don't rise to the truth of who you are. Because when you fragment long enough, you now create a shadow self. And when you create a shadow self, this is how you create pathologies in yourself. This is how you create anxieties in yourself. What do you mean that our time is now? My dad passed away 6 months ago. After that, my husband left. Well, see, prior to March 5th, 2020, when the shutdown happened, how often did you hear about narcissistic abuse and empaths, Bella? Not so much, unless you were following it. The pandemic forced everybody to be in close quarters, so much so that what was hidden became obvious. What was hidden, the veil was lifted. And for those who already been on a journey, started to get activated. So it is written in all ancient sacred texts that the last will be first and the first will be last. That's what I mean, Bella. But this is our time. This is the time for those who've been shunned, who've been ridiculed, who've been picked last, who've been made to feel like they're not good enough. Now that you've verbalized your fears, the healing will progress faster. That's exactly right, Kodai. That's exactly right. You see, this is what happened. So, Bella, what's been your experience? What happened to you? How did you feel about these deaths that happened? How did you handle them? What happened to you? You see, so what to really become authentic, you cannot become authentic until you like yourself. You cannot become authentic until you love yourself. You cannot become authentic until you accept yourself. And until you do all these things fully, you're always going to be fragmented. And when you're fragmented, you are still in resonance with narcissistic abuse, because all the narcissist has to trigger is a part of your fragment which is not healed. And all of a sudden, you descend from all these high vibrations back to where they are. It might be a word your narcissistic mother says, and you're done. A word your narcissistic partner says, and you're finished. But when you come to wholeness, you become impervious, immune to narcissistic abuse, because coming into union means accepting all the parts of you. Become their scapegoat, not the scapegoat. Very clever, dog. That's exactly it. You see, this is the whole point of moving away from fragmentation to union. And union brings you in direct contact with the spirit that's within you. And when you connect with the spirit that's within you, your true self, is when you become authentic. And when you start to become authentic is when you start to walk your path of purpose. Oh, is this connected? This is what happens. This is what happens when you leave the clutches of spiritual slavery, which is what narcissistic abuse is. And you can only be controlled when you are fragmented. You can no longer be controlled when you've come into union with yourself. Exactly, Vicky, path of purpose. When you're fragmented, it's like a family divided is easy to conquer. A person divided is easy to dominate. So the question becomes, are you even aware that you're fragmented? How does fragmentation show up in your life? How do you self-betray? Do you always show up with your true face, or do you show up with a representative? What has been your experience? You see, this is the whole point of fragmentation and overcoming fragmentation, because the gaslighting is designed to make you doubt yourself. The manipulation is designed to make you doubt yourself. The devaluation is designed to make you doubt yourself. The silent treatment is designed to make you doubt yourself. But when you start to like yourself, you don't care about being devalued by anybody because you're already approved and valued by yourself. It takes time. Nobody can gaslight you because you can see through anything and everything and you're not connected to the truth of who you are. S and Y, what's the fragmentation you've been going through? Tell us more about it. You see? So when you start to like yourself, you don't get to the point of I don't care anymore. Is that you start to like yourself more, that anything external doesn't interest you. Because by the way, here's news for you. The people you seek validation from also seek validation from other people. The people who fragmented you are fragmenting you because they are fragmented. If a person is not fragmented in a union, you feel whole when you're with them. Hi, Kia. So the only reason why the narcissist fragments you is because the narcissist themselves is fragmented. They wake up every morning fragmented, thinking, who can I get supply from today? Similarly, the unhealed empath wakes up every day thinking, who's going to validate me today? Why? Why? That's the trick of the narcissist, to make you doubt yourself and to repress the best parts of yourself. S and Y, my husband is a narcissist. We've been married for 25 years and my child, and I'm 64 now. Oh. Why are you trapped? Why are you still trapped in narcissistic abuse, S and Y? Tell us more. Why is that? I want to hear. Candy, they ignore me now that I love myself and accepted my calling and try to put my kids against me. The reason why they're putting your kids against you is typically when they can no longer control you, they want to control where they think you're most vulnerable. And if you're most vulnerable with your children, that's where you'll be attacked. If you're most vulnerable in your finances, that's where you're going to be attacked. And the purpose for the attack is to make you begin to doubt your love so you can go back to Gomorrah, Candy. So the best thing you can do for your kids is to continue to heal. Because the only reason why they're being used against you is to stop your healing and your ascension. You see, this is the whole point. It has erased me. I'm waking up now and I feel it's too late. SNY, it's not too late. SNY, I know you're 64. And I just had coffee with one of my good friends yesterday. She's 80. She's a Buddhist practitioner just like me. She's 80 years old and still sprightly. So 64, yes, you've lived a long time, but you're still pretty young. And your best life is just about to start when you can erase the past. SNY. At SNY, if you want to talk, just hit the guest button. I'll invite you to talk about it, right? I feel lost, but I'm not going back. I'm alone, but not lonely, Galinda. Well, say more. Say more. It's never too late, Kodai. It's never too late, SNY. Vicky Bates, Vicky Tell, SNY. It's not too late. It doesn't matter. Because the moment you start to love yourself, all the time wasted, all the time spent in spiritual slavery becomes erased. It just takes one day. SNY, my dear sister. And the magic trick is self-acceptance and self-love. Because the moment you start to self-accept and love, fragmentation starts to end. You see, this is the whole kit and caboodle. So when Mandela got out of prison, he was in his 70s. He could have also said, I'm an old man, it's game over. No! He went on and he did this for another few years before he passed away. It's not I am 64, we're right in time. Speak it, Vicky. You know you've got the spirit. Dia, my spirit is still tired. Dia, why is your spirit tired? And if you want to call in, please call in. I want to hear from anyone who wants to talk. Michael, the archangel. Every breath is a gift, an opportunity to move toward triumph. I just took a breath for that. Because it's true, Michael. It is true. Anytime we breathe in, we are alive. When we breathe out, we're dead. We live with life and death every second. We don't realize it. We don't realize it. Noreen, I'm 46 and I feel done. Why are you done? Tell me more. Why are you done, Noreen? Dawn Marie, good to see you. Why are you done? So fragmentation is a trick. It's a program to get you to doubt yourself. Because when you doubt yourself and you question yourself, are you going to align to your purpose? No. Are you even going to believe that there's a great spirit in you? Absolutely not. Dawn Marie, great to see you. Are you going to believe that you are lovable? Absolutely not. Are you going to believe that you're made in the image of the universe? No. Are you going to believe you're stardust like the stars in the sky? No. Are you going to believe you're carbon? No. You're going to believe you're just a human being who is destined to suffer in spiritual slavery. That's why the best place to see and harvest dreams is a cemetery or a hospice institution. Do you see? So you want to live, you don't want to die before you physically die. And that's the point of the narcissist, to kill your purpose. Happy morrows. Bella, I don't know my purpose. I guarantee you, Bella, if you dialed in, I could tell you what your purpose is if I heard your voice. Noreen, all self-doubt and fear, and I can't even think straight. That's the point. Because when you are under narcissistic abuse, the fear center of your brain, the amygdala, is always overactive. And when you are in fear, fight or flight and fear, your body creates a lot of cortisol. Cortisol is the thing that makes you want to fight or escape or be in stress. So the reason why you are so tired and drained is because you're creating too much cortisol. You're not creating enough of the feel-good chemical dopamine, which comes when you breathe in. You're not creating enough oxytocin, which makes you feel connected to people. So you're just creating this acid of cortisol constantly. See, Amber Jones, why do we feel we need permission to do what we want? Because our earliest caregivers saw our warrior nature, which threatened them. So they conditioned us to say, please, can I, under the guise of raising us. What they did was suppressed us. You see? So the matrix is not some imaginary system that's out there. The matrix is in your own home, the home you grew up in, right? Boss toxic. How narcissistic abuse, that's exactly the point. Deepak Mocktail, soul retrieval. I mean, sorry is one way to heal and integrate fragmentation. What do you mean? What do you mean sorry? Say more. But I do agree with you on soul retrieval, Deepak Mocktail. It's like I have to start over and don't know how. Noreen, the way to know every moment is a new moment. The present has never happened before. But when we live in the past and the future, we miss the magic of the present, which is a mystery. And in the present, every moment is an opportunity to begin again. Noreen, begin again. You don't like something, change your mind now. You want to start a new habit? Start right now. You want to write a book? Write the first word now. You want to go to the gym? Go now. You want to go for a walk and be healthy? Go now. 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 The power of now. Eckhart Tolle said it best. Now. because there's no past, there's no future. The past and the future are both contained in the present. So your defragmentation and coming to wholeness is a decision you make in this moment. I accept all the parts of myself. I will no longer repress any parts of myself. I am coming into union in myself. This is what Christ consciousness is. This is what Christ consciousness is. The potential and purity is all here. Happy morrows. Noreen, am I speaking to you? Am I making this up? Tell me. Right? A child of God, you said it. Child of God. Boss Toxic, how can my family and I get rid of narcissism that's been passed down from generation? You end it. You are the scapegoat that someone said. You decide enough is enough. Like I have decided. Enough is enough. Like Michael has decided. Like Pretty Shield has decided. Like Grammy Camby has decided. Like everybody here is here because you have decided that the abuse stops with you. Something that 1,000 people before you could not. And the 1,000 people before you are all your ancestors, your grandparents, and those before. And I went back 7 to 14 generations because that's what the National Institute of Health said. Scapegoat here, and it's my superpower, Pretty Shield. That's it. We're all scapegoats. We're all black sheeps. We are all curse breakers. Everybody here, whether you know it or not, because you would not be here if you were not a curse breaker. And what is a curse? A curse is a spell spoken with the words that implant in the mind that becomes reality. Tone. Love you too, Boss Toxic. Always. Because this is what we about, love and telling you the truth. We have the power and we're taking it back, Dawn Marie, right now. As we are having this conversation, this is what we're doing. SNY, in my entire 64 years, you're the first person that's been able to break through to me. Oh. We did it together, SNY. It was me, you, and everybody in this life. Vicky, everyone else in this life. Because I am because you are. Look at me. I am because you are. I am because you are, Michael. Boss Toxic. Tone. We have the power, and that's why the attackers, it's a Jedi trick, because when you're in the art of war, written by Sun Tzu, one of the strategies is to scatter your enemy. Make sure they're not concentrated in one place, that they're all over. Because when they're divided, they're easy to break down. An army united is difficult to defeat. That's the same strategy used by the narcissist, to have us splintered, schizophrenic. And as long as we're schizophrenic, looking up and down instead of within, we are easy to control. And the spiritual slavery continues. That's society today, Pretty Sure you said it. Patricia, that's exactly right. I'm pretty sure people don't want the truth because the truth requires you to look in the mirror. And how many people actually wake up every day and look at themselves in the mirror, eyeball to eyeball? Like if you're looking at yourself in the camera, look at yourself. Do you ever look at yourself, or do you look past yourself? Because looking at yourself is wholeness. Looking past yourself is fragmentation, because you don't like what you see. I like what I see. I like the spirit I see. What about you? Can you say that to yourself confidently? I like me. Lion. That no narcissist can splinter me. I am a lion of the divine. You are a lion of the divine. That's why you were treated like a lamb, because people mistook your gentle nature for timidity. And you were so surprised by what you experienced, you couldn't even speak up. So the fragmentation happened. But the fragmentation and your tenure in spiritual slavery was part of the karmic debt you had to pay to be free. There's no free lunch. You have to pay the debt. You see, you have to pay the debt. So this is what it is. Anyone else who wants to speak up, please dial in and we can have a conversation. Please, people call me names and I'm over here researching what those words mean because my language doesn't. Don't worry about those words. This is the grimoire, because words are spells. The real witchcraft is in the negative words that are spoken, the lies that are spoken, the passive aggressive words that are spoken. How do people get riled up? People throughout history get riled up by hearing a great speech or an inflammatory speech. This is the power of the tongue. This tongue has the power to build and destroy. And the tongue of the narcissist is used to cast spells in your impressionable mind because you are kind, you think everyone else is like you. And that's what leads to your fragmentation. So when you start to say, look within yourself, you don't even believe you can look within yourself. Who am I? But everything is within you. Shake off the world. They're only trying to steal your energy. Energy vampires. This is exactly the thing. You see? So when you come into awareness, you start to realize that the reason why you've been attacked is because of how strong you are. You see, because you are a blessing. Like Gyesie Royal is saying, lifting my vibrations here. Shake off the world. That's exactly right. It's a blessing. Every time you open your eyes, your greatest possession is life. You'll never live this moment twice. Stop distressing. Everything you want is inside. Nobody can rewind time. Gyesie Royal, blessing. Are you happy for no reason? You should be a one-person party. And when you start to celebrate being alive and being authentic and being in union, those assigned to you will find you because you are a lighthouse. You understand? That's why they wanted you fragmented. So you don't see the blessing that you are. Because every empath here was sent to the narcissist, whether it was a relationship or a family, to be a blessing. Because the narcissist prayed to God and said, send me a blessing. But when the blessing came, the narcissist went poo-poo. And the blessing became a lesson. Because the only time the narcissist has been defeated is when they met you and me. So Gyesie Royal said it. This is what happens. One love, Montre. You see me? This is what it's about, that you celebrate just because you can breathe is a cause for celebration. Because if you can breathe, you're feeding oxygen to your brain and your heart. And you're feeding oxygen to your brain and your heart, you're feeding imagination and thoughts of creation. And when you feed thoughts and creation, those positive thoughts and creation become things. Because everything around you was once a thought. My laptop was once a thought. The phone was a thought. Even you were once a thought. It's even a thought to be here on this life. So your thoughts become things. When you're fragmented in your thoughts, you create a fragmented life. When you are in unity consciousness, you create an aligned life. So anytime you're misaligned, that's fragmentation. And fragmentation comes from your trauma. Dawn Marie, your fragmentation playlist, I'll give you everything you want to want. Right now, I'm listening to Gyesie Royal. This song is called Blessing. Right before that, I played Whose World Is This? That's Nas from his first album. And all these songs are about elevation. They're all empaths of people I listen to. Bob Marley's an empath. John Coltrane was an empath. Alice Coltrane is an empath. Wizkid is an empath. From the ashes. Narcissists never elevate because they're so stuck in hell. There's no way out of the hell the narcissist is in. That's why they want you there with them. And when you know this, you feel so much empathy for the narcissist. Because, by the way, the narcissist went through the same trauma as you. The difference is the narcissist believed the trauma that the world is evil, therefore I have to be more evil than the world. And we disbelieve the trauma. We say, if the world is this evil, I'm going to be compassionate. That's why the narcissist became the highest ranking children of the dark, and the empaths are the highest ranking children of the light. Same coin. Same coin. They reap what they sow. They reap what they sow. You make me want to play a song by Bob Marley called Guiltiness. You see, they're afraid of you. Your light exposes their darkness. And the reason why they attack you is because you are the last person to know that you are a being of light. It's so difficult to think that you're spiritual, particularly when you've been human for so long and you think like a human. But James Allen said it best. I talked to you about this, Vicky. As a person thinketh, so are they. So whatever you think, you become. So if you think you are evil, you become evil. If you think you're the divine, what do you become? If you think you're divine, what do you become? If you feel you're divine, what do you become? If you feel you're in Christ consciousness, how are they going to win when they ain't right within? That album, the live album, is all about narcissism, Dawn Marie. The second album, the live album from Lauryn Hill. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. You see me? So you just have to live your life and be on the vibe all the time, because when you're on the vibration, nobody can stop I and I. You get me? Yay! Jeez! Celebrate for no reason, because this is a cosmic joke. It's just a play. I attend the same church as my family. All of them were gaslit by the pastor, and they turned on me. You know the answer. Patricia, you know the answer. I'm a coach. I'll never tell you what to do, but you know the answer. What do you think the answer is, Patricia? Or if you want to talk, just come in and we'll talk about this. You see, this is the Dawn Marie. The song playing now is Natural High by Kabaka Pyramid. You see? Yeah. You know what to do, Patricia. But if you want to talk, let's talk. Don't let these tricksters trick you. Kodai, dance away. Dance away whether there's music or no music. Because simply being an empath and realizing you're an empath demands celebration. Because you know what it took for you to get here? Do you know what it took for me to get here? Do you know what it took for me to get here? So I congratulate myself. And I congratulate you. I hope you're congratulating yourself. I told them they should all be ashamed of themselves. You see, this is the deal. This is the deal, my people. This is the deal. It's a battle every damn day. But when you're a soldier, you don't have to fight if you stay ready. A spiritual gangster, a soldier, is always in celebration. And when you're in celebration, how can you be attacked? Because even when the battle comes, you're still celebrating. You're going to confuse the enemies. Why is this person dancing? Don't they see the fire burning? What are you talking about? I don't live by what I can see. I live by what's within I and I. Thank you, Dawn Marie. I live with what's in I and I. I and I, unity. I and I, not me and you. I and I. This is what the Rastas say. There's a lot of wisdom there. I and I. Because there's only one. What's the point of all of this? Love. What's the point of your busy life? There's no point to it. Except to realize yourself. Because we are all connected. If you know, you know. Thank you, dog. You're so kind. You're so kind, dog. There's a lot of angels here. I know some of you. This is what it's about, Montori. Good to see you. So, as we come to the end of this live, remember, anytime you doubt yourself, you are living the dream of the narcissist. You all were surrounded by angels, Dawn Marie. Blessed love. We are indeed surrounded by angels. And many of us here are angels, earth angels. Yeah, God is with me because God is within me. That's correct, Dawn Marie. Suddenly the spaces become sacred. Yeah. You see, I just want to be silent for just a second because I'm just overwhelmed by the vibrations. We give thanks to the Most High. We give thanks. We really, really give thanks, you see. So anytime you feel fragmented, that's the curse playing out. Anytime you doubt yourself, that's the curse playing out. Anytime you question yourself, that's the curse playing out. Anytime you want revenge. That's the curse playing out. You see, many book recommendations, apricot. Try the Handbook for Higher Consciousness. That's a very powerful book. And then you can also try the book by Dr. Judith Orloff. It's about empaths. I think the title is The Empath's Dilemma or something like that. You see? So I just want to send you a lot of happy energy. Build, create love. That's it. When we are angry, the curse is playing out. When we hate, the curse is playing out. You see? You just be in love. In rotation with your love, as she say. Sometimes it's just music says it better. You get me? Chokmashki, pretty shield. Chokmakshi. We don't have to accept the blockages. That's it. We love each other. Narcissistic mission impossible. Empath mission possible, Tone. It's about creating the space for yourself. This song is by Green Tea Peng, titled My Love. Green Tea Peng. So I just want to thank you, folks. I want to send you lots of good energy today. And know that you are in the shield of unity consciousness. Because when you're in union, you are no longer fragmented. And the union is created by yourself. The safe space is created by yourself. And it starts with a decision. I am coming into union. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Instagram. Same name, In the Mileage. Montori. You can find me everywhere. Janice King. We are here to love. Otherwise, what's the point? Wake up early, go to work, come back, repeat. Well, what's the point? Raise children, they grow up, they leave. What's the point? The point is purpose and love. Purpose and love. So I just let the song by Green Tea do its business. You know, she's talking about love, you know. We're together in this together. So love yourself today, you see. This is how you start coming to unity. Love yourself today. Really. Tell yourself something nice today. I love you. I appreciate you. You are amazing. This is you talking to yourself. I love you. I see you. I validate you. I accept you. There's no one like you. There's no one like you. There is no one like you. There is no one. Oh, global. The ancestors are proud of me, global. They are proud of you too. They are proud of you too. And I'm celebrating you. I am enough. I am worthy. I've got a good friend called Bon I who talks about I am enough. I am enough. Jump for joy. Like a child. Jump. Get silly. Jump. Be happy. Because happiness is an inside game. Woo! Okay, that's enough. Thank you all. Happy Wednesday. See you on Friday. Yeah? Peace and light. One love. One love. One love.